Pretty cool video for you guys today because I actually learned something that surprised me about e-bike removable batteries. And I guarantee you guys will too, and it might help you make your decision for your next purchase. All right, removable e-bike batteries. What are we talking about? We're talking about the down tube batteries. Are they fixed, meaning you can't remove them unless you drop the motor, or are they removable, swappable, so to speak? So, I'm on the fixed side. I never remove my batteries. And I polled my our NorCal group, and 80% said, yeah, they don't remove their batteries. And that's how I've operated. But talking to some new manufacturers, they're all like, oh yeah, we need that. We need that. Absolutely, we will lose a lot of our business. And so that got me thinking, I'm all like, am I in a bubble here that I don't remove my batteries? And I do see that when I review this bike, this is a Pivot Shuttle, my favorite bike. Some people are like, oh, the only negative comments are like, I can't buy that. It doesn't have a removable or swappable battery. And I'm scratching my head. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why do you need that? And so what I did is I polled our YouTube channel on, do you want a removable battery for your next bike, or do you want a fixed battery? And the results shocked me. I was like, dang, how did that happen? How could I miss that? Anyway, so before we get into that, I'm going to show you what a removable battery is. So this is a Score bike. All the old bikes before, when they were first introduced, had removable batteries. And there's been a migration to fixed batteries. And after you see this video, you're going to see that there's going to be a migration back to removable. So here's a removable battery. You put a wrench in and you twist it. Boom, you twist it. And usually there's a safety. And you press it. And then boom, the battery drops out. So here we go. Removable battery. This one, that took a few seconds, right? This one will take half hour in case you need to service the battery or it breaks. So it's usually an 8-pound battery. This is 700, and there's some new batteries that are like 10 pounds. And companies have migrated away. Most companies now, like Pivot used to be removable, and Santa Cruz used to be removable, and now they're all fixed. And the reason is there were a lot of problems with it, a lot of problems with removable. So the biggest problem, the most serious one, was the battery would fall out. Even this guy had some issue, I think. Maybe it was user. So me and my buddies, we would strap this with a big belt or Velcro. It would fall out while you were jumping, while you were doing extreme stuff. Boom, it drops out and it can hurt you. Hopefully it just falls out and just goes along its merry way on the trail, but it could hurt you, okay? Another problem was it made the down tube bigger and heavier. Because you have a gaping hole now in your down tube, first, you need to have a door usually, and this is kind of the door, and so it needed to be in and out, some support, so it got bigger and heavier, maybe a pound heavier is what I heard from manufacturers. So another problem was reliability, dependability, because you're taking out your main fuel line, your main connection every single time, disconnecting it. Dirt can be introduced, water can be introduced, and usually these things are spring-loaded. And after a while, you're doing some mountain biking is a rough and tumble sport, right? Any interruption in the connection, if it's less than perfect and it's a high amperage connection, the battery will cut out, and then sometimes you're just going on a steep hill and the battery cuts out. It's because your connection on your removable battery is not perfect. So that got introduced. Another problem, it was a source of noise. Most of the rattle noise came from this connection or this not being firmly in place. A third problem was this is the dirtiest part of your bike, where the front wheel puts mud in and nastier stuff in here. So whenever you need to remove it, they're like, oh. And then the last problem, I would say, there's probably other ones, but the one that comes to mind is you'd lose the key. And you're like, why is there a key? Because people can steal your battery now. So all my commuter bikes, they have a key for the removable battery, so they can't steal your battery. But then in mountain biking, manufacturers discovered that, hey, we don't really leave our bikes such that they can steal our battery. Just lose the key. We don't need that darn key the mountain bike stays with us or stays within inside of us all the time. Okay, so those are the problems, and let me show you the survey now. The survey, it's on the YouTube, E-MTB review YouTube. I'll show you how to navigate through YouTube. Basically, whenever you're seeing a video, you can click on the channel name and you'll see the channel. You might have, if you've never been there before, please, I'll show you your homepage recommended for you. You can go to videos, all the videos in the channel, you can sort them by popularity or by latest. So it's actually a cool thing. And then more to the right is posts. So posts is the social media effort of YouTube, and I'm able to discuss with people are able to discuss among themselves, and I'm also able to post polls or pictures or get some feedback from users. So this is where I posted it, and so I said, for your next bike, or what do you prefer? Do you want a bike with a removable battery or swappable battery, and or a one with a fixed one where you need to drop the motor to remove the battery? And overwhelmingly, the results were 75% removable and 25% fixed. I was like shocked. I'm like, dang, I thought it'd be the other way around because of all the disadvantages of removable. But despite the disadvantages, people said, hey, you know, things being equal or with the slight disadvantages, I'd rather have removable. So that shocked me. And so in this next part of the video, I'm going to tell you, the great thing is there's comments as well. Why do you need it? And I've been hearing this for the last year from users, and then on this poll, why do you want it removable? What are your reasons? What's your value proposition? And so I'm going to give you guys 10 reasons, and this is kind of cool because, man, it even speaks to me, which is kind of a non-removable guy. And I think the number 9 reason I have is it might be against the law to have non-removable battery. But the 10th one is really cool as well. First reason is it increases the usability of the e-bike to have a removable battery. You know why? Because now you could, if you have, maybe your battery is not big enough, maybe you have 2 of them, you can swap them while on a ride. You can carry this on your backpack, you could leave this in your car, or leave this on the trail somewhere. And if you're doing a big ride, you could do it on turbo, because you'll have not 700 watt hours, but 1400 watt hours. So it increases the usability of your rides, gives you options, so to speak, to have more than one battery in a ride. And if you're enduro racing, you do need to hot swap batteries in between stages. So you know, there's certain situations where you need to hot swap your battery. The second important reason is for charging. So this one I heard over and over again, charging situations. You know, if you have a nice garage, just stick it in there, charge, you have a spot for it, you're good. And that's me. I charge them in the backyard, and you're good to go. But there's situations where people are not able to do that. They need to remove it. What are those situations? A common one is you live in an apartment where your bike is in the garage or a shed somewhere, or in the vehicle, and you need to get the battery out so you can charge it. Charge it in your room, charge it in your office. It's muddy, you can't really take it in. The other is reversed, where you want to charge it outside. You have safety concerns. Your bike is in the apartment and you'd rather charge in the balcony, or you want to charge outside in the garage somewhere. So charging situations, pretty tricky, but sometimes you want them off. All right, the third reason is traveling. Traveling, this hasn't really been a factor yet, but it's gonna become a big factor, because these are the perfect exploration traveling machines. You know, if I'm somewhere in Europe, somewhere in Portugal or in Vietnam, I would rather have an e-bike than a normal bike, than a regular bike, because it could be super mountainous. You know, I don't want to be very tired. I want to ride every day. So these are perfect adventure bikes, and it's hard to travel, but you can't bring these to an airplane now. You know, this guy, they go, oh, does that have an e-bike? Oh no, you can't ship that. You can't have a battery bigger than 150 or watt hours, 160 watt hours on an airplane. And you fly with this, put it in a luggage, and this guy right here, you either ship it ahead of time, or ahead of time. Or I think what will be more common is you will have a common battery like a Bosch or a Specialized, where they will have it somewhere in the continent where you're going or your destination. So you'll have that option, and that would be pretty cool. Next issue is shipping a bike. Shipping a bike, similar to traveling, is becoming very problematic. You don't want to burn down the UPS and FedEx building, so they want to. It's becoming a lot more difficult to ship a bike, an e-bike with a battery, and that's only gonna tighten. These bikes are not so dangerous, but think of all the $500 Amazon bikes out there that are not as safe as these guys, charging fully charged. So shipping a bike is a lot easier with a removable battery. All right, number 5 reason is service, support, and replacement. I've had 2 batteries go bad at me already, and even though I don't use them, I have so many that I don't use a single battery so heavily. They do go bad. After a couple hundred charges, they say they last up to 500, but both my batteries went out at 200 charges. And if this was this bike, I'd be SOL. It'd have to go to a dealer. I'd have to ship it back if there was no dealer. It's a problem. But with a removable battery, first you can diagnose it easily. Just take this out, put a good one in. By process of elimination, you say, hey, it's the battery. And then it's easy to replace. Boom, boom, they just ship you a new battery or buy a new one. You're good to go, okay? The next one is lifting your bike onto a bike rack. Most of these bikes are 55 pounds and the battery is 8 or 9 pounds. So if you have to lift it every time, you're right at the limit of what you can lift like this. It's not like you're in a bench press. It's like it's an awkward one. And 55 and 45, it's a good enough difference for some that they could do it without a ramp, perhaps. So making the bike lighter for your transport. Maybe your rack is only rated to 50 pounds, not 55, or your bike stand. So there's these options. Good to have a removable battery option. All right, next one, I believe is number 7, is charging in very cold and very hot conditions. So this is actually a real thing. You notice, like during the Arctic vortex circle in the Midwest, none of the Teslas would charge. It's because it was too cold. It's actually very dangerous to charge your batteries when it's sub-zero. You know why? Because the voltage drops. The voltage drops and on the battery, and if you allow it to charge, it will get it to 100% charge. But even though it's 100% voltage, it was actually 120% of voltage. So you're in a danger zone. When you put it back to room temperature, this thing will expand and it might explode because it doesn't want to be at 120% charge. That's when it's very volatile. Same thing with heat. It's also dangerous to charge in extremely hot conditions. So you want to remove it, leave the bike in the shed, and just charge it where it's room temperature. Next one is cabling and maintenance. I've had problems with these guys where you need to adjust the dropper cable, or you need to replace the cables. The battery's in the way. This one, you can get the battery out of the way. All right, number 9, we're getting to the hot stuff now, is why is it illegal? Why is it illegal? So someone told me about this issue, and it's that, hey, in Germany, it is not legal to carry your bike behind your car, which is kind of how we do it, trunk rack or hitch rack, with a battery inside. Why? I can only suppose that it's because you can get rear-ended and cause an explosion. I don't know if that's real, but that's the law. Now, how much it's enforced, probably not so much. But hey, Germans, they're serious about their law and their fines. And if it's happening there, it might spread throughout Europe. There'll be just more laws and restrictions as these things evolve, are heavily used. So that's the law right there. And if you're a manufacturer, it's kind of a concern. Bosch, that might be a concern for you. All right, and the 10th reason, and the really cool reason, is there might be features. If you didn't have any of the downsides of the removable battery, then it's pretty attractive. But what if there were features? What if there are features, additional value adds that a removable battery introduces? Now you're talking. Everyone's going to shift here. So what are features I'm talking about? So this is a 700 battery. Okay, What if you could swap in 1,000 watt-hour battery? Same size, batteries are getting smaller. Boom, because it's removable. Boom, boom, and then pretty good, right? But what if you can have a 350 on the same slot, same case, 350? This is the biggest influence to the weight of your bike. Instead of going carbon, just get the normal cheap stuff and put in a 400 or 350 when you need to. So those are pretty cool features, right? Hot swappable, different size batteries. Another feature I'm thinking of is, what if there was storage in there? You know, what if you can store your tube and your I see some space there, some tube or some your sandwich in there. That would be pretty cool, right? And the final feature I can think of is, what if you had a modular battery? You know, what if you had a 500 and 200? You take out the 200, so now it's like you had an extender, but they're all integrated in your removable setup. So, not bad, huh? So, did I turn you? Did I miss anything? Obviously, I'm not trying to change your mind or anything, but really, these little cool discoveries about our category of e-mountain biking are pretty cool. And hopefully, I make you guys think, and make the manufacturers think about the possibilities. Because, hey, I thought I was good with fixed, and everyone should be, but it's not the case. You know, it's useful to think of the other side and the alternatives and the possibilities. Thanks a ton, everybody.